Oh, hello.
Smartest, Stupidest Podcast, Episode 4.
We got Chris.
We got Scott. This one, it's that time of year. It's going to be a Halloween-themed podcast.
Spooky. We should have started off with like the lights off and then been like,
here's this. Don't look up. Spooky face. Jesus, I hate every time.
That one always gets me.
So,
let's talk about your koozie real quick, because the last time I think he got a little jealous. He went out and bought this. I love it. It's nice. But if I had that koozie, I'd always just be like...
Is that why there's beer spilled all over my floor when you had this on your beer?
No.
Oh, you know what? Can we just point something out real quick? This is not a beer. This is what, 17-year-old chicks drink after they drink Boone's Farm. It's good. It's a good. So I wanted to start out, I'm not big on Halloween because I come from an Irish Catholic family and we were more on Christmas. He's satanic, so...
I'm the exact opposite of him. I love Halloween.
He killed bunnies and had them chained up outside and did satanic rituals with them.
I've had a few animals die on me, and I don't want to say it was a coincidence, but...
I would say it was on purpose for Satan. So, what is... I'm going to start out. What is your, bottom, favorite Halloween movie of all time?
The actual...
I know it's hard to pick maybe
it's actually
one.
Jeepers Creepers. That's my favorite movie,
really?
horror movie ever. Yeah.
I was not expecting that. Your favorite scary movie, Jeepers Creepers?
Favorite.
It's pretty good.
Horror
genre movie. I do like that.
I went to see it at 14 with a girl. It was my first date, and we went and saw that.
Did you have a blue mohawk?
And it was rated R. I did not.
They probably would have let you in for free. Super cool mohawk, dude. Go ahead.
Our mothers had to take us to the theater. It was one of those things. It was in Springfield at the time, but so we get there, and maybe if I had a blue mohawk, things would have went better. But
you got to be 18, my
it's
man.
Hard. It's really hard for people who are 14 to keep a relationship going if they don't live in the same area. This girl lived in Springfield.
Yeah, you have to really...
I lived in Riverton, so it was
Mom.
This distance between us. So I'm going to blame it on that. I was real smooth and real cool with her.
Jesus, dude, you were at 14, I had, no fucking play. So,
but anyway, about the movie, Jeepers Creepers is just the best in the sense of the opening. It sets up the characters. It gets really to this. Movie. It has so much tension and build up, and then
the creature itself legitimately
was super
scary.
Cool. When they're in that tunnel and they fall down, and then they you're completely enthralled with what's going on screen.
So, you're saying Jeepers Creepers? I will say is an amazing movie. The sequels, believe it or not, still pretty good.
I really enjoyed the second one. The third, not so much.
Again, I just want to say, I knew you were more into horror movies than me because I'm not into that genre per se, but I really do like the classics. So the first,
yeah. My favorite franchise is Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th is badass. Again, I don't really like horror genre too much, but you have to appreciate the classics.
What's your favorite then?
Hands down, the first Halloween, the John Carpenter. Right. Today people would be like, oh, because the film's grainy and because it was 1978, right? But John Carpenter is a badass anyway. But dude, there's just this feeling when you watch it that you feel like you're part of the movie, you're the character being pursued by Michael Myers. And for the time, some of the camera angles and I just thought it was a really fucking good spooky movie, man. The first Halloween is better than the first Friday the 13th. I think so.
I agree. There are certain moments that I really enjoy about Friday the 13th, the original, that there's a couple characters where they're out at a dock and they're sitting there just having an honest conversation back and forth. And this is very specific, and nobody's going to remember this because nobody remembers shit like that.
In the first Friday?
In the first Friday the 13th, that I thought was really sweet and genuine, that doesn't necessarily happen in Halloween. Halloween is very stilted in the relationship. Even the friends...
They don't do a lot of character development.
Sure. But Dr. Loomis, he's amazing.
He's probably the one that stands out with the most character, probably. I can agree with you on that. I think it's more of the filmography for me, the angles and stuff. Something about Jason. Now, I will say, just to jump forward, I did like the first Jason. It has the more summer camp slasher.
Do you mean the third one then?
The third one when he gets the mask.
Okay, right.
And which brought me to that. What I did a little research on was the first Halloween. People kind of agreed that it sold better in the box office and stuff. But then he was wearing a fucking potato sack in the first two, Jason.
Well, he wasn't even in the first
or
one.
the first one, I guess.
Being a child.
Yeah.
And then the second one, yeah, he was wearing the potato sack.
Which that scene though in the first one when he pulls her in the lake, he looks like fucking. This is another cool thing. You probably already know this, but the original mask for Halloween was a stretched out Captain Kirk mask from a local toy store. Yeah. So I thought that was funny as fuck, actually.
It was William Shatner.
William Shatner, like, stretched out, yeah.
And
legitimately
kind of super weird that they made such an iconic mask out of something that was already existing.
Yeah, I didn't know that until recently.
You know, let's make a cool-ass bottle, but use this and twist it up or something and be like, this is our new bottle.
I wanted to kind of dial it back for a second because I can't remember. I feel like I saw this in high school class or something. It was but the original, this was in the 1920s, that Nosferatu, the vampire, it's a silent film.
Yeah.
Dude, like, just the visuals, like, him as a vampire, like, fucking haunts me, man. And, like, it's hard.
Great at making him
so
look like
scary,
that.
dude.
Yeah,
and being a silent film, there's a lot of, it's just body language and stuff. I mean, it's super cheesy. The girl that's like, oh, like laying there and shit. But no, him, like, I remember he had like long fingernails or something, and just his face, dude, like the black and grainy, the black and white, that shit to this day, like, I hopped on YouTube, actually.
You still get on there and piss your pants when you see it.
I mean, dude, it's still scary because, like I said, I had to do a little research for this one because I don't like I'm fucking Catholic, all right? I don't fucking like the devil. Fuck that shit.
You keep using it. There's Catholic people out there that
no, but those are the ones that scare me the most. So I wanted to get into this. Like, so I really like the campy slasher. I guess we can't leave Freddy out, but I'm not really into that. I thought Freddy just used gore and shock value.
If you go and rewatch those movies, there's a lot less than you probably
in the Nightmare on Elm Street ones.
Yeah,
I'm a huge X-Files, which is kind of Halloween related still. Because because I'm gonna get to my favorite. Probably scary movie, which is Alien, which is still it's in the horror genre.
Yeah, it's like a horror / sci-fi.
And I'm a fucking space nerd, so I like anything like Alien, outer space. But that, you have to admit, that movie has some pretty fucking quality. The first one, by the way.
Well, see, I loved Aliens.
I mean,
that was more for me, just because
I guess you could say sci-fi, but it's
I love the aspect of there being a group of people, as in Aliens, is what I'm talking about. That. It's kind of like a horror movie where there's a group of people and something's just picking them off one by one. And then, so that's why I appreciate Aliens probably a little more.
Thing.
Alien, even though Alien is definitely the better of the movie.
I keep forgetting. You know, I hate to, when I say I'm not in the horror genre, I guess I'm lying to myself. Because The Thing is probably one of the best movies ever made.
I have never seen it. I actually own it. I have this thing where
I buy
movies and
the reason that you told me that is the pick them off one by one. A scary movie that really scares me is the actors and the scenes actually making you feel like there's dread. Like, people are actually dreading the situation, and you can see in the actors' faces, they're like when people get picked off one by one, they're like, fuck, I'm next. You know what I mean? And then, like, if you think about it, they save the best actors to survive because they have to have the most, like, emotion. Yeah.
Okay, this is going to sound really weird. This is going to sound weird, but the most terrifying thing to me in a horror movie when I watch them
is a guy getting his dick cut off. That happens in new ones all the fucking time, I feel like.
So the most terrifying thing to me in a horror movie is when it first starts happening and no one knows what's going on. So there are moments in these movies...
When they're curious?
Well,
because that leads me to the humor.
It's where people are just like going about their day, like in Friday the 13th. There's a moment where Kevin Bacon is having sex, I think, in his cabin, and then all of a sudden he gets a fucking spear jabbed through his throat, and he's just like, "Oh my god, I'm fucking dying!" All of a sudden.
So like the ones that just come out of nowhere.
Yeah, so it's easier to be the last person alive because now you're like, "Oh, this is what's going on."
You're more prepared, and you're more like now defensive.
I know what's happening, and I can actually try to have a chance at survival. But there are so many times in all these movies where it has to start off where nobody knows a goddamn thing about what's going on, and that is terrifying to me because there's moments where
I mean, there's definitely the build-up's a huge part.
It'll be like a boyfriend and girlfriend. Case in point, Halloween, the original Halloween. Michael Myers comes back as the boyfriend.
Oh, with the ghost with the sheet on his face, and she's like, "Stop it!"
Yeah, she's like, "Haha, cut it out!" Like, whatever.
You gonna give me my sandwich or my beer or whatever?
She's thinking that she's being murdered by her boyfriend. That is a terrifying thought.
No, that scene.
That is more terrifying.
But dude, that's the first Halloween,
than
though, right?
knowing someone's trying to kill you. It's just like
That's such a good
your
movie,
thought
though.
is that you don't know what's happening, or it's like a loved one trying to murder you, but it's really not. But in your mind, you don't know that it's not.
But can we talk of a funny part about that? Because I just rewatched the first Halloween. That's the scene you're talking about.
It is really funny that he
the part
does
that's
that.
funny to me is Michael Myers, in most of all the movies, his only like mentality is I'm gonna slowly pursue you and kill you. But sometimes it's like he thinks outside the box and puts costumes on, and it's fucking hilarious. Because I wish they would show, like, you know, they didn't have it in the fucking movie where he's just sitting there like, like putting the fucking sheet on. Just
Why
like,
is he Frankenstein in this?
dude, he kind of moves like it. Dude, that's how how corny some of the slasher parts are. Like,
It would have been
when they fucking fall down and they
super
come
hilarious.
back up, and they're but no, just him, just like
to see him putting this over.
Yeah.
Because it has like eyes that he drew
it's
on
so
there
funny,
too.
man.
He had to have
like
done
that part. But all right, I want to get on the humor side of it for 1 second, because horror movies, I don't like the real shit about it. Okay. But no, like, dude, all right, so every single, especially in the slashers, you can say the same about Freddy. Maybe not as much Freddy because he was in the dreams, but Jason and
How terrifying is that, though?
But yeah, the
not
Freddy,
wanting to go to sleep.
First off, I say we can't leave Freddy out, because I would put him in the 3 top classic, like, with that era. But dude, to me, I mean, after seeing the recent one, was it Rob Zombie? Or who did the recent one where it turned out he was like a fucking pedophile that like burnt down in a fucking building?
I don't know the director, but yeah, there was a remake.
And that made it scarier to me, because I wasn't into Nightmare on Elm Street, but I don't know what the backstory was back then.
That was kind of always.
But they didn't make him a pedophile.
That was kind of like
did they?
always the assumed background.
But he was a creepy
that,
guy,
yeah.
obviously. But
And
was
then
there
the
ever
parents
scenes?
murdered him,
That is true.
and then he came back to haunt the children's dream to get back at those people.
There is some iconic scenes, like the guy in the waterbed scene.
Oh yeah, I think
That's
it was
pretty
Johnny Depp.
iconic. As a little kid, I was like fucking holy shit! Like I had never seen anything like that. Like I am nostalgic about a lot of shit, and the fucking Charlie Brown.
Do they have a
Charlie Brown pumpkin patch, man?
Halloween thing?
Of course.
I never saw that.
It's like iconic with the whole Charlie Brown Christmas tree deal, man. Your childhood just makes me want to cry sometimes.
I've actually been watching. I mean, it's October, so
I
always
I'm
make
a
sure to
festive
watch.
guy. I am festive.
I always make sure to watch a lot. Have you been watching horror movies
I
recently?
have,
You
man.
said
Like
that
I
you
said,
watched Halloween.
you know what? You only live one life, and I think it really is fun
to just waste it watching movies.
or waste it watching this podcast. It's up to you. But no, I'm being honest. I'm fucking corny. Like I like around Christmas. I like watching Christmas.
It's feel good.
It's
puts
a
you in
good
the
feeling,
festive
man.
mood.
We're
It's-
human beings. We
yeah.
need these things. Because, like I said, I'm not into it enough that I own physical copies or anything. But around Halloween time, I enjoy it, man. Now, if you want to check out my Christmas DVD collection, no, I actually don't have shit for Christmas. I did have a sweet little, believe it or not, this was in like the 2000s. They had a fucking, I kid you not, a Yin Yang Twins, Little John Christmas CD. It was like, ho, 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 Merry Christmas, ho, ho, ho. Dude, I swear to God.
I've never heard of
dude,
that.
it was I swear on
I'm embarrassed for them that exists.
I swear on everything I love, because I remember I had a system at the time. I don't know who gave me a mix CD that had this shit on it. But it was like around the time when what would you do for a twin? Get on, like the Yin Yang Twins, like the titty bar music. My friend put this in my car, and I had it stereo. And like it just started out like with this like Jingle Bell Christmas, like, oh, you put a Christmas CD, and that's kind of, didn't expect that, bro. That's kind of cool. And it's like, dun, 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 dun. I'm just like sitting there thinking like, and it's like, ho, 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 ho. And it's like, I'm like, holy shit, this shit's
That
like,
CD sounds awful.
Dude,
I'm not gonna lie. It does
well,
not
the Yin Yang
sound-
Twins are awful to begin with. Like, have you seen their MTV Cribs? Like, they
Yin
literally
Yang,
talk like that. Like,
this
here's the crib, yeah. Like, they come inside, like, here's the fridge,
Were they the ones that did Whistle While You
Yeah,
Whistle?
exactly. Yeah. But it's just, I don't know. That's the only Christmas hip hop CD I'm aware of. I'm sure there's other ones out there.
Hopefully.
But
if
no,
you know of some, he's ready to listen.
but no. To get back on the Halloween side,
So you watch some on Xfinity.
no. What I'm trying to say is I really enjoyed it, because the old ones, it's just so. And I just want to say this: it's awesome how they just, for no reason at all, just have like random titty moments. And just like, the chicks would just be like having a pillow fight or something, and she'd be like, whoops. And it's just like, yes. Like, they don't even do that. It has nothing to do with the plot. She'd be like, Stacy. And it's like, just tits.
I wonder what, like, I've never even...
Because they know what the viewers
I've never
want.
had a discussion with a girlfriends or females even about that part of the horror movie genre that always happens. I actually,
sex sells,
one of
man.
my ex-girlfriends, we started watching the Friday the 13th, and she was really enjoying them, and still we did not have that discussion. Maybe she just was used to it at that point. I will say it's to where she was like, oh, I just expected that, so I'm not even going to bring it up. But I mean, if you're comfortable, how does that make the females?
If you're in I will say this because I've experienced it both ways. If you're in an actual relationship, like somebody you've been dating for years or whatever, it's just like, I think I was in positions where any moment where there's titties or like a nice ass.
Did they make you look away?
No, but I've been in relationships where just like, adult girls can be like, yeah, it's a nice ass. She's a fucking actress. Like, who cares? I mean, my son's mom's like, Chris, I know you looking at that booty. And I'm just like, what? Do you see the house over there? They painted that shit crazy. But no.
It just happens to be behind her booty.
They're like, what? But no, it's actually kind of, I appreciated it. I mean, I was watching it and I was like, I forgot. But it's you laugh, happily laugh. But it's just, they just got in a pillow fight. And it's just like, ha 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 ha. And then like the camp fucking director came and was like, now what did I tell you, girls?
Well, I feel like that happens
but it's always
that type
now
of scene
there might be a shower scene or something,
and like movies that weren't as popular that were trying to
draw
ride
people
the
in.
coattails of those success. We're like, hey, we got
all natural boobies. By the way, I just want to say that there was that I don't believe
How
this.
do you know that?
Because in the 70s, I don't feel like titty implants
wasn't a thing. Of
they
course
just
it was
looked
a
like
thing.
they picked out the best natural ladies. Either way is fine. We just want to see them.
We just want to see them.
But go ahead.
We don't care.
Guess what? Superman's out of here now. Because Batman's better and I don't have that koozie.
So you bought a Superman one, but not the Batman one, even though you preferred Batman?
I just wanted to have a koozie because you have all these koozies and I don't have any.
I don't even have one today.
People were messaging me like, dude, I had people messaging me, tell Scott how cool his koozies are. And I noticed you didn't have one. And I was like, well, I don't like them. I never have used them before.
It's all show. Like, I'm not a typical koozie person.
I think they're for pussies.
I have them, and I do not use them on my own time. I use them for shit like this.
No, I like to be able to see how much of my beer is left. With them pussy-ass koozies, you just never know.
Do you not have feeling in your hand?
I like to feel the coldness of the glass. It's all part of the fucking process, people. But no, so let's get back to Halloween. I honestly, by the way, I just stopped at a gas station. I wanted to get Oktoberfest.
Summer shandies are great.
They're not bad, but I wanted to do the Oktoberfest. Look at my sweet ass wallpaper right now, by the way. It's like an old school fucking Frankenstein.
That's gross. That's not Frankenstein. He's just kidding. And I'm kidding. It's Frankenstein.
But no, what was his name? Because back to the classics.
Yes.
What was the guy that just became super famous in the classic Frankenstein? And he doesn't know.
Do you know? I have no idea.
I figured
I'm not a huge that type of classics fan. Because I'm a slasher horror movie fan. I hate
I do too.
all these new ghost movies. By the way, with like The Nun and
that brings me to something.
Like Annabelle.
I don't like. But okay. Can we just say
I'm not a fan, and I hate that they do so well because I want slashers to do well.
But dude,
and I want more slasher movies in my
Insidious
life.
was actually kind of scary, man. Like, you didn't think that was scary?
I liked Insidious and The Conjuring at first, but then they got really boring. Conjuring 2 had maybe a person die. One.
No, I will. Can I say this though?
They look beautiful. The directing is amazing.
I'm going to disagree with you on that.
But I'm not big a fan. I want to see people get murdered in horror movies.
So, which is the one? I know there's a solo movie for her now. But which is the one for the nun that started out? The second Conjuring?
I believe so. Conjuring 1 had a scene with
demon,
Annabelle
Darth Maul,
that I loved. Like, it was
Darth
amazing.
Maul was in the second.
Annabelle was awful.
Insidious. It was Darth Maul. You remember? Yeah. She looks behind Darth Maul.
Like, oh my god! I thought you were just being stupid, but it did.
He looked like Darth Maul, dude. He had the fucking
anyway. Red paint and...
That I don't know, man. That guy seemed really cheesy to me, like he came out of The Hobbit or something. But dude,
I did enjoy the first movies of those.
All right, let me just get to the point. The Nun fucking scared the fucking shit out of me.
Oh, so you've actually seen The Nun? I have not seen.
No. Not. Let me rephrase that. I have not.
I hate it.
I have not seen the new one. I'm talking about in the movie that they introduce her. That shit genuinely scared the fuck out of me. Like, there was a scene where, because it was a painting, because they're the same ones from all the movies, right? The couple that does the paranormal investigations.
Right, and I really do like Patrick Wilson in that bit.
And the guy, the husband, he was drawing this painting, and it was of the nun, right? The creepy nun. And there's like a scene where the wife is sitting in this room where the painting is, and she keeps looking at it, and she gets up closer to it, and then the fucking nun like walks out of this fucking painting. And me just being Catholic, that shit scares the fuck out of me, dude. Because I was like, there was like nuns are like a Catholic thing, right? So that shit just scares.
So you've dealt with nuns.
I have, and it's just. First off, the reason, let me just put this shit out there. The reason I don't watch this fucking garbage is because it's sacrilegious as fuck, and I believe in God, and I don't hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, but I do enjoy the classics. But that scene, I was with a girl, let me put it like this, I wouldn't have watched any of this shit.
You're making me interested in that aspect because I am not a believer in God or anything like that. So to hear you say that, like...
Can I get another beer?
Yeah, I mean...
Well, I mean, you were on to this great story.
Did you not think that this was an important...
Well, he just... Didn't he seem like he was... Didn't it seem like he was diving deep into his soul, even though he doesn't have one, because he doesn't believe in God, you fucking dick? Keep on. Tell the people how you're an atheist. Would you like one of these? A non-God liker guy?
Please.
Oh, I thought these said for godly people.
Sorry. Oh, no. Did I mention that I found faith? I found it in this beer.
Good. Maybe you can edit this part out too, you dick. No, go. No, I think that's important that I don't know anything to that.
I just find it interesting that you said that it's sacrilegious to like watch or enjoy these movies as if you're not supposed to just because you're Catholic or something like that.
Well,
is that what you were implying, that you're not supposed to enjoy the murders, the fictitious murders of other people?
No, I do think that the murder part isn't a big deal because it's all fantasy. But there's just some shit I wouldn't dive too deep into it. Maybe I'm just a fucking crazy person. But there's some shit I just don't feel like. Like for instance, I've been at parties when I was younger where people had Ouija boards. Mm-hmm. And me, I'm a little superstitious, but I really truly am religious. Like I believe in God. I've had things happen to me that I still have my faith. But that shit is just something, it could be real, it could be fake, but I'm not going to take my chances. Like, I don't,
sure.
No, I'm just being serious, dude.
No,
like,
yeah.
Maybe I fucking summon something that fucking, like, follows me around the rest of my life. I don't fucking know.
But, I want to sit...
Would you feel...
I don't want to delve
into,
Let me put it like this.
Like, you don't believe in witches.
If you're saying you don't want to take your chances, but you're... So are you... Like
Slasher, Friday the 13th.
Are you really believing, or are you just kind of, like, scared into believing?
I believe I believe in God, so I believe there is a devil. So I believe all the good things God does. I believe that, I mean, in my religion, they say that exorcisms are real, that they've had to perform exorcisms.
How have we not mentioned that movie?
That's like one of the greatest, too. Yeah, and the Poltergeist, too. Great
movie.
But no, back to, what was I saying?
Horror movies.
Oh, no, okay, yeah. Horror movies. This is about horror movies. The reason I fell off during that era is that they just went straight to, like, just disgusting gore. And gore,
like Hostel,
like Saw, Hostel.
See, I was a huge fan of those.
I'm sorry, dude. Like, I get it. It doesn't make me throw up or anything, but I don't like to watch it. It's not scary. It's just, it's stupid to me. Like, I mean,
I wouldn't say that I was necessarily a fan of the crazy gore involved. Saw I appreciated for the twists. It was like a new Twilight Zone episode.
Plus, Jigsaw kind of became a next our fucking 2000s
was fucked up
character.
I hated the
dude. Hostel was so
1,
bad,
though,
dude.
I felt was super well done.
The fucking drill.
Like a girl had her eye popped out.
And then I remember something about the back of the Oh, that part got me the worst. Oh, that scene. Oh,
when a movie makes you feel like that. When it
that scene, cringing, I remember just like
that's a good horror.
I remember getting up off the couch and just rolling an ankle and be like, "Oh, he did it to me."
When I watch something that they come up with now, like The Conjuring, and I don't get that feeling, it's almost like I don't get a cum. Like
you got not that I was.
Yeah.
Well, you were because you jerk off to horror movies because you're a crazy person.
I grew up with such intensity that now when they have these
The Conjuring scared me, man. Like if I can remember, there's so many of them. Maybe I'm thinking of a different one, but The Conjuring and the Conjuring 2 that had the introduced the nun or whatever. That shit legitimately fucking scared me. I watch fucking sci-fi and anime and shit. But no,
so we made a podcast about this.
He's like, let's do Halloween. I'm like, seriously, Scott? Fuck off. Okay.
I do want to ask you, did you go trick-or-treating? Did you go to Halloween parties as an adult?
I have a good trick-or-treat story.
Tell me.
You know, growing up, there was like a period. I understand now how expensive just having one kid is. So there was like a period of time, me and my sister were like 3 years apart. And my parents were kind of struggling, you know what I mean? And so there was no Halloween costumes that year. And I think my sister ended up just being like, well, I'm not going. And I was fucking determined. I was like, fuck it. Find me something, Dad. I want some candy. You know what I mean? I'm not quitting. I know there's Kit Kats out there. I know there's fucking Gobsters and fucking whatever awesome candy there was.
Just
and like
waiting to be devoured by your mouth.
And then I have another funny story about that, how my dad would be like, oh, this is tainted, and just eat it. and I found out in later years that it was his favorite candies. All the Butterfingers he said he found razor blades in. But no, he literally just like, here, he gave me a fucking tool belt. And I was like, this is my costume? He's like, yep, you're a fucking carpenter. I was like, alright, sounds good. And actually take this back. My sister did have a costume. I had a costume, and and something happened where I fucked it up, where like the mask cracked, and I didn't want to just wear the Spider-Man bottom, because I'd be like, oh, I'm Spider-Man without a mask, fuck that. So I was like, I'm not doing it. And my dad's like, nope, you're a carpenter. And he threw the tool belt on me, and it was so funny. To me, it was probably really depressing at the time, but we would go up to different doors, and my sister would be a princess, and I'm just like, trick or treat, and I had just a tool.
Tim Allen.
No, but that's what's funny about it is I had like a tool belt on, and she'd be like, "Oh, you're your little cute princess, and what are you?" And I'm like, I'm a carpenter, lady. Obviously, I got fucking tools. I'm a carpenter. That's how I talked when I was a little kid. I got fucking tools, lady.
Of course.
But no, she's like, oh, that's cute, and she still gave me candy. But I remember like some people were like sticklers about it. There was like a younger couple who was like, oh, you're a cute little princess. You got to do better than that, buddy. What are you? And I'm just like, I'm a carpenter. And he's like, I'm not seeing it.
Like, you look like a shit stain to me. Yeah.
Really? You look like a little shit with a carpenter bag. Yeah. No, I was just like, I'm a carpenter. I swear to God. He's like, where's your hammer? I was like, well, my dad doesn't let me have an actual hammer. I'm fucking 7. He's like, where's your fucking... I don't see any screwdrivers. I'm like, it's a tool belt. Are you going to give me candy or not?
Did you have anything in the tool belt? Like lollipops?
No, they didn't allow me to have anything, dude. Because, like, obviously real tools you can hurt people with, and I was a little shit. So I'd probably just be like, give me candy, and, like, stab somebody or something. But no, he's just like... more. I just remember one guy being like, you're going to have to do better than that, pal. And I'm like, I'm a little kid.
Like, what do you want from me?
Like, can I just be a little kid and get candy, you fucking dick?
So when was the last time that you actually did some trick-or-treating?
Like 6 months ago, probably. It was like during January. I was just like, hey, trick-or-treat, smell my feet. In a scary story sense, if I was in a scary movie, he would probably die first. Do you think that you would die first, or do you think you... Alright, if me and him were in a scary movie, who would die first? Like,
I really do feel like you would, and I would probably be the second person killed.
But there's only 2 people in the entire movie. Somebody has to survive.
Why is there only 2 people?
Because it's just a weird, scary movie, man. Can't explain it. The serial killer just hates both of us. I watched that podcast one time.
I will say that I'm very naive in like general settings. So if, like I was saying earlier, where
like if it's
a scary thing to where like
whoever's better at first base survives.
You're not really thinking you're going to be murdered. I would be that person to be murdered first.
I would think like, all right,
that would make sense.
Let's test your softball skills. Whoever loses dies.
It's a different horror movie than I was expecting, but I would be first base. Like, if this killer was creating a baseball team of adults,
I mean,
you'd be dead, and you better pick something else, bud.
But what if I'm, like, catching behind-the-back grounders and pop flies?
You want it, because I would be catching all those and more.
Happy Halloween, guys.
Happy Halloween. My name is Scott Allwood. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you can check out our other episodes and subscribe to my channel to where you can see us as quickly as possible.
Episode 4 is completed. Look forward to episode 5, where we talk about turtles that have autism. Thank you.